Located about a 45-minute drive southwest of Jerusalem is an area called the Valley of Elah. The archaeological ruins here are only recently discovered, and so visiting the site is a rather adventurous affair at the end of a long and bumpy dirt road.
Now, what's most exciting about this site is that it was only recently discovered, with excavations beginning in 2007. Below me is the Valley of Elah, the site of the epic battle between David and the Philistine champion Goliath. David killed Goliath in what is referred to in classical Greek literature as monomachia, a classic version of today's extreme fighting, with super crazy weapons.
This form of one-versus-one combat to decide the fate of an entire battle was not practiced in Near Eastern culture, but it was prevalent in ancient Aegean culture. Therefore, the Philistines, being of Aegean descent, retained many customs and words from the area, including the tradition of the duel. This culturally distinct practice gives the David and Goliath narrative increased credibility, as writers of the Bible would not know of a distant foreign custom unless it was witnessed firsthand.
In 1 Samuel 17, we read the dramatic account of a shepherd named David who takes on the Philistine giant Goliath. Instead of the typical armor and weapons for his one-on-one fight to the death, David goes to a nearby brook and chooses 5 smooth stones instead.
David convinced King Saul to allow him to accept the challenge from Goliath by telling him that he had successfully defended his father's sheep from attacks from both the lion and bear. David was described as small, with no armor. Goliath of Gath is described as 6 feet 9 inches, with a bronze helmet, 125 pounds of armor, and a spear that was so large that the iron point weighed 15 pounds. Is it any wonder that David was mocked by Goliath? He said to David, "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. "Come here," he said, "and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." David said to the Philistine, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I'll strike you down and cut off your head. This very day I will give the carcasses of the Philistine army to the birds and the wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel." Then he took his staff in his hand, chose 5 smooth stones from the stream, put them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag, and with his sling in his hand, approached the Philistine.
We all know the rest of the story that took place in the Valley of Elah behind me. David took his slingshot and popped Goliath in the head, killing the giant and securing victory for the Israelites.
In 2005, an object known as the Gath Ostracon was also discovered right here that shows even more compelling evidence for a mighty warrior named Goliath during the time of David. It's funny how quick we're willing to call a story a myth these days. But are we willing to reinvestigate these stories just as quickly when the evidence keeps surfacing?